before we actually begin. I don't want that to happen again. So how's life, John?
Pretty great.
What I like to hear.
The Royals game sucked, though.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's weird that Chris Young finally realized that, oh, wait, I'm Chris Young.
Yeah, I guess. He's fine. He's whatever.
I plan to do this draft normally I'm gonna want to strategize on my draft, not pick who I want necessarily, but pick people. If I think you might pick them, I might reach for them a little earlier. I wasn't gonna do that this time, but I was just gonna go in order of my favorite characters, but I'm worried, so I'm gonna fucking strategize. I'm terrified you gotta take people I like.
Oh no, it'll ruin the podcast. All right, you ready?
Yeah, all right, I got a whole opening I'm gonna read. I kind of mapped it out. I'm not good ad-libbing. This is so nerve-wracking. All right, why don't you go on mute until you'll know when to unmute yourself. All right.
All right. Okay.
Welcome to the Survivor Buddy System, a brand new podcast that, as of this moment, is the GOAT of the Survivor podcast community. Here you can expect weekly episode recaps and season rewatch analysis, but we're going to kick things off here on the podcast with what will be our podcast staple, the fantasy draft. But before we start that, let's introduce ourselves. I'm your host, Eli Rosenzweig, and I'll be going tip-top toes against my co-host John Grostidier. John, how you doing today?
Pretty good. Just got back from the Royals game, so a little tired, but ready to go.
No one cares about the Royals, John.
That is true. They did lose 13-2 today.
We're here to talk about Survivor, so why don't you give a quick recap of your fandom of Survivor so people can kind of get a basis of where you're coming from.
I've watched casually for about 2 years, and I've started just obsessively rewatching and researching just about every season, at least once, sometimes twice. So I'm new to the Survivor community, but I'm definitely classified as a super fan.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. John was actually the one who got me. You're the one who got me interested in Survivor. I watched season 29 as it happened, and I liked it so much that I went back and we watched every single season over the last 6 months. So yeah, I'd like to thank you for getting me into Survivor. Now you've ruined my life.
Same for me.
So you can reach us on Twitter at Survivor Buddies or via email at survivorbs@gmail.com. And you can find us, if you go on our Twitter account, you'll find both of our handles there. So you can reach out to us that way. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Today we'll be drafting our favorite characters to watch on the show. This is not a best players draft. This is the people we like to watch the most. That's a very important distinction. We will draft tribes of 10 people each, and like the rest of our future drafts, we will do our best to have an even mix of men and women whenever possible. As the host of the show, I'm going to defer to you, so why don't you get us started with the first overall pick in our favorite players draft?
This contestant is one of my favorite contestants ever.
I would hope so, since you're taking him first overall, Joe.
I didn't even really notice her on the first time I watched the season, but on rewatch, I could not stop laughing at her. Just recently found out she dated Stephen Fishbach. With my first pick, I'm going to take Courtney Yates.
Wow. I mean, she's a great character, but I don't even have her in my top 30.
I don't know how that's possible.
Well, I mean, why don't you convince me? I mean, you don't have to convince me she's great, but you got to convince me she's this great.
She just, every single time she says something, it's funny. Her attitude is almost identical to mine, which makes her even funnier. Her Jamie impression was hilarious. Always taking digs at John Robert was really awesome. Her inability to All right, I'm just gonna stop for a sec. I messed up. All right. Her recreation of Todd's miscarriage, when Todd said that, when Todd was told that
I'm
her,
pretty sure it wasn't Todd who had the miscarriage, but his sister. But go on.
yeah, Todd, when his sister had the miscarriage, he was told at the reward challenge at the family visit, and no one bought it. And Courtney's reenactment of it was hilarious, and her just total. Oh man, this is not a good first start. Let's see.
Power of editing, Tom.
Say what?
The power of editing, buddy.
Yeah, no, okay.
I'm gonna mess up more than you, so don't worry about it. If we have to re-record little portions after my first edit, we can do that. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, where did I end it off? Just see, that's what I hate, is like I don't know where I left off. All right, let's see.
You were discussing the
Miscarriage, yeah.
yes.
I guess I could just start over that.
Yeah, when you gotta hate you.
All right, here we go. When she was told about Todd's sister's miscarriage, it was probably her best moment of the season. When she got back to camp, she just like ripped into Todd, being all dramatic. And it's hard to explain how awesome she is, like with all the things she says, because it's not just really the quotes, it's the way she goes about saying stuff, her sarcasm, her just kind of dry sense of humor. It's just really, it makes me just laugh the entire season. It was pretty awesome.
I remember watching her the first time. I thought she was literally going to die out there. I mean, she entered the game at like 90 pounds, for crying out loud, and she made it to the end, right?
Yeah, and got 2 votes at the final tribal council.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how she made it alive, to be honest.
I think she was herself, and Amanda obviously is not one of my favorites. She just kind of seems fake out there and just not really all that interesting. But her time on Heroes versus Villains wasn't great. But the best part of it, I think, was at Ponderosa when her, JT, and Coach created a rock band, and she got super into it, and they recorded a music video, which is on Survivor, CBS Survivor on YouTube. She's probably my favorite woman to ever play Survivor.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've convinced me. She's the first one I'll pick, but she was a joy to watch. That's for sure. Certainly, not many people like her that has ever been on the show. That's for sure. All right, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right. All right. That brings me to my first overall selection. I kind of want to be cagey here and take someone I know you like, just so I make sure I get them over you. But I'm not going to do that for my first overall pick. I'm just going to take who is literally my favorite player to ever play this game, and that is Yao Man from Survivor Fiji.
Yao Man?
Yes. I think he's the most likable survivor to ever play the game. But he was so great. He also had like a little sneaky streak in him. I remember early on, like he would like I forget who it was, but he went to give someone a hug and he like took a peek in their bag to see if they had an idol or an idol clue or whatever. Like you just would never suspect that from Yao Man. He was so clever. He was actually pretty solid in challenges. He found idols. He was the first one to invent a fake idol. He just had so much cheer and joy, and there was no one like him before or since. I mean, obviously, the accent was great too. I mean, it's just impossible not to like Yao. Like seriously, find one person in the world that doesn't love Yao Man.
I might be one of those people. Like he's great. He's all right. He's not on my list for one. I guess we both chose people that weren't on the other person's list, but I mean, he's nice. I don't find Survivor people that are nice to be all that interesting. I know he did some like cool strategic things, but nice isn't really what makes a great character for me.
All right, you're clicking a lot, just so you know.
All right, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just I'm trying not to do it too. All right, hate on Yao Man all you want, but all the adoring fans of this podcast are going to vote for my tribe to be the best because I have Yao Man.
Fair enough.
Well, why don't you take us away with your second pick?
This pick's a little more obvious. I think he's the only person to ever completely make a season. Like, if you just took this person away, this season would be probably bottom 2 or 3.
Oh, now I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's one of the best players never to win. Has a podcast.
Oh, I was gonna take him first overall, but
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rob Cesternino.
I hate you.
He's probably the best Survivor character of all time. I just had to make sure and get Courtney Yates out of the way. But just every scene he's in, he makes witty comments. He's just hilarious in general. Probably the best part of his season, Amazon, was his fake plans that he told Matt. Like, he just kind of got bored out there and started just feeding these random, super descriptive plans to Matt, which he would then tell to Butch in this chain system thing they had going. I could just watch his YouTube clips all day. He's probably the funniest Survivor player to ever play, and also one of the best.
I agree with everything you just said. I thought like, if I took him first overall, people would be like, oh, it's just because of the podcast, or he's just so overrated because of the podcast. That's crazy. He's amazing. I love him. I thought you would think the same thing, so you try to take it a little later. So that's why I started sneaking Yao Man first. I'm really regretting this now.
Yeah, he makes the season. He's like, who's the second most? Like, everyone who's also funny on that season is because of Rob. Like, Matt's only funny because Rob kind of like makes fun of him and makes him kind of has him like under his shoulder the whole time. Like, Butch is kind of funny, but only because Rob makes fun of his firewood.
Believe in yourself, John. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, I do, and that's why I'm choosing Rob.
Man, that's a great pick. I mean, I just love the way he played. He seemed so likable to everyone in the tribe, but he was such a snake, and he played it off so well. I mean, he practically invented flipping. He always found people in the bottom and worked the numbers. I mean, he kind of like invented the modern day way of playing, to be honest. And I don't think he fully gets credit for that.
Yeah, it helps when people just straight out tell you their plans in advance, so you can flip. But yeah, he's really good. I don't know if he's like top 5 Survivor players ever, but he's definitely top probably 1 or 2 Survivor characters of all time.
Well, that's a great pick, John. I can't argue that. All right, I'm going to take my second pick, and it's probably going to be someone you're going to not even have on your board, but I don't care. It needs to be done. Russell Hantz.
Yeah, I hate Russell. So.
Look, that's the thing. I understand that people don't like him. I get it. But that's what makes for great TV. I mean, you could be a sourpuss and hate him, but you got to at least acknowledge he was dynamic and terrific TV. I mean, he made Fair Play, who was like such a big villain, look like Mother Teresa. And
he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can knock him for a social game, obviously, because he's got a game that can't win. But his strategic game is legendary, and it's just so fun to watch. Like the very first episode he was on, it was a sight to behold. Like sabotaging his own tribe, pouring out the water, and throwing socks and fires. Like his bloodthirst for the idols. Like lying about being in Hurricane Katrina. Like making alliances with every single person on day one. I mean, God. I love his smile. Like when he gets one over on someone at like tribal council and outsmarts people, that smile, like it's just so great. Like I love watching him bully people. Like when he outplayed the shit out of Rob Mariano in Heroes versus Villains. You know what's so great about that? When Rob that epic vote when he got Tyson basically vote himself out. When Rob voted for Russell at tribal, Rob said, "Welcome to the big leagues." But, lo and behold, it was Russell who was showing him how it's done.
Yeah, Russell was definitely helped out by the fact that no one got to see his season the second time. I'm not going to trash Russell here because he is a great character. I will trash Russell later when we were talking about like gameplays, when we're doing like our best players draft. If you draft him or most frustrating players, we'll definitely be able to talk about his game more. But as a character, I feel like he's one of the best. I wasn't going to take him out of spite because I hate him so much, but he made Samoa. He kind of revived Survivor, which maybe not be here with if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, like I just feel like some people, are just annoyed, like just like over him. Like he was on 3 seasons out of 4. Like, so I understand like Russell overload, but it's just I'm not gonna. That doesn't take away from how special he was. It's his first 2 seasons.
Yeah, he was kind of overshadowed by maybe the best player ever, Brandon, when he came back and played twice. So I can kind of see why people forget about him, just because Brandon was supposedly going to win Survivor South Pacific from interviews and stuff I've heard, but I don't know if that's possible. But
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
I don't think you can. Brandon's just terrible, but Russell is amazing. So,
All right. Well, why don't you go with your third round pick here?
um, there's a lot of ways I could go here. I could go with like the hysterical, like players that aren't supposed to be funny but are hilarious. Let's see. I think I will go with another like good, solid character in Natalie Anderson from Survivor San Juan del Sur.
Wow. She is someone I definitely had on towards the bottom of my board, so I'm fine with you taking her here.
Yeah, she's great. She kind of was the first person to successfully play like a man, and I mean that like in total confidence, where she just took hold of the alliance, was outspoken, was good strategically, was good socially. She was just she like saved that season. That season was just brutal through the merge. Like I can barely remember anything that happened. Like everything I remember about that season is Lovey Bay and Natalie Anderson. So I also love when she saved Jacqueline at Final Five. She's
Yes, that was one of my. See, this was the first season I watched, and that was like the most badass move I had ever seen. Obviously, at that point.
like her. She didn't really have to make that move, but she was just like, you know what, I'm a badass, so I'm gonna do what I want. She just kind of owned that season. She
Wait,
saved that
she's a
season.
badass. So is she like Natalie Christie instead of Natalie Anderson?
I'm basically a badass. But yeah, like that season was.
Is she a meat collector?
What'd you say?
Is she a meat collector?
Meat collector. That season was just the best. Like drops there. I think just the one-liners and stuff. That season was great. But overall, she's probably one of my favorite players of all time. Possibly the best female player ever, but Kim Spradling probably has a little bit to say about that. But I think she's definitely a top 10 player of all time. The way she just kind of took over that season and dominated from Final Seven on.
Yeah, she was great. She was fun to watch. Like sassy and like was confrontational all the time. She had great confessionals. I mean, her accent's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really important to me. People's voices. She was just fun to watch.
Yeah, she was also great in like the interviews after the show, and she won Mrs. Survivor, and she seems smart. She has a lot of personality. She has a twin that got voted off first, so that kind of adds to her allure.
All right, let's see. I gotta figure out who's taking next. I'm so mad about the Cessanino thing. I came so close to taking it first. You're a colossal douche for that. All right, fine. I'm going to pick. All right, with my third round pick, I'm going to take someone who I'm not even sure how you really feel about this person. I'm sure you like them, but I don't know. I'm going to take Parvati. Where did you have Parvati on your board, John?
Parvati?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't have her. She's awesome. I don't love her as much as everyone else. I don't think she's one of the best players ever necessarily, like she seems to be put into. But
I do. I think you're crazy for thinking that. But I mean, that's not what this podcast is about,
yeah.
So we won't necessarily talk about that too much. But I don't know, just like obviously everyone knows like she's like the most charming person in the world. Like her laugh, her smile. Like she was smart and like, she learned from her first time. She wasn't that great her first time, but she really learned from that experience and just dominate. Like my second favorite season of all time is Fans versus Favorites. Micronesia. She just was so great. Like the whole Black Widow Brigade, and like whenever she'd like get out a guy, the girls would do the stirring the pot motion, which was hilarious to me. She was just like one of the few like three tool players. Like she had the outwit, the outplay, the outlast, and not many people have that. I just think she's so much fun to watch.
She's great. I love her confessionals most. I don't think she's all that interesting, like kind of out, just kind of playing in the normal scenes. In confessionals, she usually says something witty or smart or funny. She's usually pretty good in those.
One of my favorite Parvati moments is when she's reading the letter that JT wrote to Russell when JT gave his idol to Russell, and she was just like, the way she read it, and like she added little like tidbits of her own into the letters. It was just so great. She's just so much fun to watch.
All right. Do you have anything else to say about Parvati?
What else is there to be said, John? She's the best.
She is, but my next pick may be better, man. And this next pick, man, it's probably one of the best picks I've ever made, man. And man, I just love this guy. And his name is.
I wonder where you're going with it. Where you're going with this?
Judd played on Survivor Guatemala, maybe the most forgotten season ever. He's possibly the funniest. All right, let me ask how to restart that.
Restart the whole thing.
The whole Judd thing.
Yeah, because I kind of interrupted you.
Yeah, and also I need to like find out what I'm going to say to. All right, with my next pick, I'm going to take one of the. Oh my gosh.
Don't worry about it. Sorry.
All right, man. I'm going to take Judd with my next pick, man. He's probably one of my favorite players ever, man. And he might not have the best sportsmanship, as he would say. He's not a bad sportsmanship, but he's just great. He's 100% Judd all the time. He's not one of these people like Coach, Shane, Phillip, who I kind of feel are acting sometimes. I feel like I'm getting the full Judd all the time. He's not doing anything but being himself, and he's the best. Whether it was lying about the clue.
It's definitely on the ground, John.
Yeah, it's definitely on the ground and gets caught looking nowhere near the ground, looking in the trees for the idol. He professes that he hasn't lied yet, but he's going to start. His tribal council, where he just destroyed. Who was it again?
Oh, I know what you're referring to.
Let's find that out. All right, was it Margaret? I think maybe.
Yes.
Judd and Margaret. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna. The tribal council where he destroys Margaret. Margaret kind of pokes at him, and Judd just unleashes and just goes after Margaret, and he makes up a lie where he says that Margaret said on the first day that he has ADD, and Judd goes, "You think you come in here the first day, tell someone they have ADD? Is that a nice thing to do?" And Judd was the best. And
you got to work on your impression. You need to take a lesson from Josh Wigler.
I do. Josh Wigler has the best impressions with Wanda, Judd, and then Rob has Pinner and plenty of others. But back to Judd, he ended his time by saying, "Thanks, guys. Hope you all get beat by a freaking crocodile, scumbags." Just everything about him. He says "man" nonstop. He's probably the best character up to that point and kind of starts the mold of like, not Man, but Cowboy getting cast, like people getting cast just as characters. He's one of the first to be cast as just a character. But he's also not terrible at the game either.
All right, that's a solid pick. I didn't have him on my board, but I can see why you like him so much for sure. All right. I don't know which direction I'm going here. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right. With my fourth round draft pick, I'm gonna take John Cochran from Survivor South Pacific and Fan versus Davis 2. I mean, who can relate to an adorable nerd who is afraid to take his shirt off? I know I can, that's for sure. How about you, John?
I would probably fit that mold, though I am getting some tan this summer. Going to the pool, getting my tan on.
Well, good for you, John. Anyway, just you have to love his passion and enthusiasm for the game. Like, you and I consider ourselves super fans, and it's fun to watch someone go out there who's the same way. And he got made fun of so much his first time around. It was terrible in challenges, and it was hard not to feel for him. You loved his self-deprecating humor, and obviously his flip at the merge was one of the most amazing moments in Survivor history, and you could totally understand why he did it. And this in the second time around, he was almost even better. Like this, two of my favorite moments from that season. He steps out, like I think it's the first challenge, and he's like burnt red, and Probst is like, John, what happened? When did that happen? And John's just like instantly. And then the moment at the auction when John is licking peanut butter off someone's fingers, I forget who, and Probst is like, how often does that happen, John? He's like, more often than you think. He's just so funny. He's just like, we had a few nerds back, cast back in the day. Some people similar to him, and like Skinny Ryan and Rob Sesame, to a degree. But this was like the ultimate nerd, and he was really great.
Yeah, I think the difference between like him and Sister Nino is Rob's funny all the time. Cochran's funny a lot of the time. Like he's great. Like in the first season, I don't think he's ever himself. I think he talks about this in interviews, but he's never really fully himself. He can't really fit into the group. And the second time he goes out there, he's like, I'm just going to be myself. People are either going to love me or hate me. And he was a lot better. He was funnier. He didn't seem scared the entire season. He got confidence. He was winning challenges. He played a great game. He's also always had those kind of one or two things per episode that made you laugh and love him.
I think there's more that needs to be said about Cochran. I didn't do a great job.
That blue shirt thing. What was the shirt?
Oh my god! Yes, one of my all-time favorite things. It was so true. It was at Tribal Council, and I forget the line. God, I wish I could find it.
I bet we could just like stop on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I'll do that real quick.
It seemed like 3 hours to edit this podcast. God damn. All right.
I'm not seeing it. You probably watch his John Cochran, like his 15-minute video. That's probably in there.
Where did you find those? I had a hard time finding those things.
There's not everyone has them, but like Tony has one. There's like quite a few. Sister Nino has like a shorter one. There's a decent amount. I just like search their name or whatever. I'm not seeing one for him, which sucks. But yeah, those. I mean, I'm sure you could go find that episode. Or
I'm just trying to find that. I just want to get the quote. That's all I want.
Looks like a check the master. Dustin Johnson. Beef.
Yeah, I'm set. so hard to find.
Do you know what episode it was?
No, I do not. Absolutely, I do not. No chance I'm a man from reading a breath.
I mean, we could probably do it afterwards, and we could record something real quick if you want. Was it in Fans vs. Favorites, or?
I don't think so.
So it was in the first one?
I think so.
The season was long.
Hey, man. The internet's not as good as it should be. I'm like trying to. I can't even find like anywhere on the internet with like John Cochran Survivor quotes. Like nothing. Oh, okay. I think I found it. Talking strategy with. I think it's talking strategy with Brandon. It's like talking to you about shirts that aren't blue. Hold on.
You find it?
Well, I think I did that before. I just read it to you. Did you hear me? Or?
Yeah, you already get started again? Or?
Yeah, I gotta start.
What did you say?
No, I'm gonna restart in a second.
All right, who's on my team right now? I got Judd, I got Natalie, I got Courtney, I got Rob doing 4 people each. Okay, I'm doing some deleting to help me out while we're paused. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Have you taken a woman yet?
Yeah, I took Poverty.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna tell the story because it's like it's hard to like even tell it funny in any way possible. So why don't you, whenever you're ready with your 5th pick, just go ahead.
All right, let me look. With my next pick, I think I want to enter the unintentional humor people. Maybe go on a little bit of run of them. This player has played once. She is an athlete. All right, let me start that over. Gotta get back in the zone. With my next pick, I'm going to enter the unintentional funny people. She has played once. I do not know how she hasn't played again. She was great the entire season. I'm going with Crystal Cox.
Oh my God! I had a feeling that's where you were going. Like, no, you're joking. Out of like the 400 plus people who played the game, one of your all-time favorites is Crystal Cox. Like, come on.
She saves the season from being just terrible. Like,
you're gonna have to defend the hell out of this because the people listening are gonna be. I mean, you just ruined your great Rob Cesternino pick with this. But continue.
She's the best. She gets in the season, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know if I can tell people that I was a former Olympic athlete." And from the start, she couldn't get up that hill. And watching, I was like, "Wow, she's going to be a pretty good character. Former Olympic athlete. She's going to dominate challenges." And just every episode, I was just left disappointed. And by about like episode 5 or 6, it just was hilarious. And every time she's like, "I want to get my Crystal Cox game face on," and she made it sound like one of those people you like playing video games, like, "Oh, I'm gonna start trying now. Like I haven't been trying," and they're like down like 40 points. "Oh, I'm gonna start trying now," and every time she starts trying, she just does worse, and she complains that her shoes weighs too much, even though they look like totally normal shoes. She spills the rice and then like pouts in the corner and doesn't eat. She gets in fights with everyone the whole season. I don't know how you can't enjoy Crystal Cox.
We all know how much I like. No, never mind. We're not going to go there. So you don't think there's any chance that she was sabotaging her game? Like, well, I mean, like, was she taking it easy in the challenges? Because if you're a challenge beast as a female, that really puts a target on you.
Yeah, but she kept like making it like to the point where you just should win every challenge or try to win every challenge, or like there was one challenge that like was set perfectly up for her where they're running. They do this in water a lot, like in Palau and Fans vs Favorites too, where they hold on to like something really heavy and run around and have to catch the other tribe. And she was just terrible in that challenge. And when I saw that, like a running challenge,
it's not like she ran for a living. Come on, John. Give her a break.
Yeah. I also read that she had her gold medal stripped for steroids, so that maybe explains it. But she just spends the whole season making excuses. And
wait a minute. So she took steroids. Does that mean she won't make the Survivor Hall of Fame now, John?
I would definitely vote for her in the Survivor Hall of Fame.
Sadly, I think you would.
Yeah, I mean, if you hate Crystal Cox, then you're gonna probably hate some of my next picks coming up.
Well, hey, you know, the more ridiculous picks you make, the better my team looks. So bring it on, John.
I don't always love the players who are like actually funny. I find the players most funny that are not trying to be funny or just really terrible at everything. And Crystal falls into that line of thinking. And I mean, Gabon's a terrible season. I've just started rewatching again, and Crystal's about the only bright spot in that season.
Well, I mean, you know, no one can accuse you of being sexist, like Jeff Probst gets from time to time, because all your favorite players appear to be females.
Yep, I'm definitely going down that road.
All right, that brings me to my next pick, and there are so many good players I want on the board. There's one player I want to take, but I know you're not going to take them, so I'm going to wait and take them later. So for now, I'm going to go with... I don't know which direction to go in. How many people do I have right now? I have Russell, only have 4?
Golden boy.
Golden boy. I gotta make a decision. All right. With my 5th round selection, I'm gonna take Johnny Fairplay.
Yes, I thought about taking him with my last pick. He's awesome.
He was like the first real villain. Like what made him so great was that he embraced being the villain. He wanted to be the villain. He wanted to be a character. Most people who went on the show didn't really understand like that they're on a TV show necessarily. He did. He was fun to watch. He had so much fun out there. You know, people seemingly only remember him for his grandma lie, which was obviously amazing. But he was a really good player who came quite close to winning. Like who could forget all his hilarious speeches to the camera when he went up to vote at Tribal? He approached the game like he was putting on a show, and it was just so much fun to watch.
My favorite part of his game was when he showed up to Tribal Council drunk, and Jeff Probst asked him, "Are you loaded?" And he just like starts laughing, and that was probably my favorite Johnny Fairplay moment. Just simple stuff like that.
How dare Probst get mad at him for being loaded? Because that's exactly what the show wanted. They wanted him to show up to the Tribal drunk.
Exactly. But I had one minor flaw in your thinking. You said he was the first Survivor villain. Are you forgetting someone named?
No, hold on. I know where you're going with this. I said the first real villain. I understand you're gonna say Jerry Manthe, and I know she was the most hated person on planet Earth for some weird reason, but she was not a legit villain in my eyes. I'm sorry.
Oh, Colby, we love Colby. Hey, Jerry. But yeah, Jerry was probably the first villain for no real reason, but Fairplay actually was villain and stuff. So yeah.
Jerry was a villain because she wanted to slather Colby in chocolate and lick it off, which probably every chick in America wanted to do at the time.
But yeah, one thing that I recently learned was that he got in a fight with Jeff's brother at the Survivor Vanuatu finale and got kicked out of the party, and that's maybe a reason why he wasn't brought back sooner.
I just feel like it's a little bit of a shame. Obviously his second time out was such a disaster when he quit the game, but I just feel like that takes away from how great he was. I think people kind of forget how good of a player he was.
Exactly. He was actually really good in the episode he was in. He was up to his lies, his good confessionals. He had people believing he changed or something. He kind of pulled a Russell. He's like, how do these people trust me? But yeah, Fairplay was really good. I wish he would have got to actually play Fans vs. Favorites. I don't really know what's going on.
Well, you know what would be even better than that? If he was on the first Heroes vs. Villains season. Well, I mean, Heroes
All Stars. You mean All Stars? That would have been great.
Oh, that
saved All Stars, honestly.
Yeah, man, that would have been. I mean, he was one of the best characters of all time at that point. How did they not cast him on that season? That was such a disappointment.
Because of Big Tom, I don't know. That was just kind of a season I want to forget about.
Yeah, let's not even acknowledge that season being in existence. All right, why don't you take us away with your 6th round selection?
All right, I'm gonna stick with my unintentional humor people. This person comes from one of my favorite seasons. He may not be tall in stature, but he has a special place in my heart, and it is Leif Manson from Survivor One World.
Oh man, are you tanking to get a better draft pick in the next draft or something? Are you the Philadelphia 76ers of Survivor podcast? What are you doing?
A season with Leif and Crystal it'd be legendary. Leif was hilarious. There wasn't a lot of him getting shown, but
that's because there's nothing good to show.
He slept in a box.
Now that was one of the greatest things ever. But if you got a base one of your favorite characters of all time on one moment of him adorably sleeping in that little coffin or whatever the hell it was.
He slept in a little box. Just going back, I watched it again a couple weeks ago. His challenge celebrations they're the greatest things ever. If it was just challenges, Leif would be in heaven. There was one challenge that all he had to do was unlock a key, and he jumped on top of the table and had the whole team come and pick him up. There's the slide challenge. It was just a reward challenge, and he when he was celebrating, picked up sand and threw it, and was he was just amazing. Only challenges were the only thing that got to him, but he was great. And watching his Ponderosa videos, he was so sad and depressed. He said he was going to write a book, which I did fact checking today. He has not written a book yet, or else I would own it.
We should try to get him as a guest on this podcast.
I feel like he would love anyone who loves Leaf is welcome on this podcast.
The thing I always remember about Leaf is when Colton like forced him to go to tribal because like they were so mad at him. Like all he did was he didn't even do anything that bad. I mean, he did make a mistake, and I think he told someone they were going home or something.
Yeah,
But, like, he acted like he just did the worst thing that has ever been done on planet Earth. Like he was like just a terrible person, and like he didn't deserve to be in this game anymore.
oh, Munchkin. He's gonna kick the little Munchkin back to Oz. Is what Colton said. Colton was a different character. I love Colton in One World. I'm sorry, people probably hate him. I love Colton. He might be on one of my teams, but let's see. Leaf. Also, the way Tarzan talked to him was hilarious. Tarzan talked to Leaf like he was a little like 7-year-old, and like he was like a little kid out there. He's like, "All right, now Leaf, you've got to vote with us this time, all right, buddy?" And it was great. And I have a quote from his day after at Ponderosa. So if I could start that, I will. The overall experience has been just one of the most number one experiences I have ever felt in my life. He's the best. Leaf is the best.
I'm gonna have to take your word for that one. I'm sorry, John. I'm not your best pick here. Although you don't have many good picks, so
You're just a hater.
I don't hate him.
Everyone's gonna love my team.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out about that. All right, so moving on to my 6th-round pick, which could possibly be any worse than your 6th-round pick. I'm going to take Coach Ben Wade. Now, I'm taking Coach Wade 1.0. I'm not taking 2.0 or 3.0. This is Coach 1.0. Coach, the Dragon Slayer, the Warrior Alliance. Always playing with code and honor, like his yoga, or if that's what I don't even know if that was actually yoga. His ridiculous storytelling, his insane black T-shirt, or whatever that was. I remember one of my favorite Coach moments was his tantrum on going to Exile Island. It was just so great. Like he was trying to throw anyone else under the bus to try to get them to go to Exile. He was like the only one in the game that hadn't been there yet, and like he's like, you know what? Fine, I'll go to Exile. I'm not even going to start a fire. I'm just going to go out there, like God wants me to go, and like with no food, and I'm just going to take time and like pray to God. I don't know. It was just the most ridiculous thing ever. He was so much fun to watch. He was one of the biggest characters ever, and he kind of got old after a while. But this is Coach 1.0. I'm taking. I'm not taking the annoying 2.0, 3.0.
Yeah, even though I don't think Coach has anything on Leaf, he was still a good character. The thing that I loved most about Coach was he always played with honor and integrity, except when he didn't, which was most of the time. Like, I know you're talking about Coach 1.0, but in 2.0, when he like flips on Boston Rob and then says he's like playing with all this integrity, it doesn't make sense with him. It's kind of frustrating, kind of hilarious. I feel like there's like an act being put on, which is why I don't view him as a great Survivor character, but I definitely see the allure of Coach.
Were you rooting for him and Jerry to get together? I actually was.
I love Jerry.
I feel like they're the best. They would have been the best couple in Survivor history.
I think so.
All right, just a heads up, you're making a lot of racket whenever you're talking. I don't know what you're doing over there.
Making it what?
You're making some weird noises when, like, I don't know if it was clicking or, I don't know.
Okay. All right, who should I pick next? All right, with my next pick, I'm going to be taking a recent player, somewhat controversial player, Tony Vlachos.
Hold on. Yeah. Just you did several clicks there, so just redo your pick.
Okay, let's see. With my next pick, I'm going to be taking a pretty controversial player. Played recently. Hopefully he'll get to play again. I'm going to choose Tony Vlachos from Survivor Cagayan.
Wow, a good pick from Don. Something that me and the audience have not come to expect at this point.
I love Tony. He's okay. Let me redo that. Tony is just great all season. Whenever he's talking llama or in his spy shacks, he's just going 100% all the time, playing hard, making alliances, flipping on alliances, getting back with the alliance. He just made that season. His relationship with Cass was awesome. He could just tear a new one every day, but they'd still somehow vote together. Just everything he did made that season better. Even though I don't really think he's one of the best players ever, he definitely made that season.
Yeah, I don't understand. Do people not like him, or is he kind of polarizing?
I think the Super Idol definitely doesn't help him out.
Well, I just like I don't. It's just so I don't understand why people don't root for like people who just go all out. Like he was playing a game. He was relentless. Like he was great TV. He was. You just. It's like I don't understand how people don't root for players that are going all out all the time. It's just so great.
I think Spencer was the reason why, because he was the hero. He came from nothing. He was on the one of the worst starting tribes ever. Got blindsided at the merge and just kept fighting. Spencer also gave like 110% all the time, which made him really endearing. He was the underdog, and Spencer is definitely getting a good edit, while Tony may have been getting kind of a shoddy edit.
Yeah, that's a very good point there. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
like when I was watching that, I was more of like a casual fan at this point, but I was all in on Spencer. Hated Tony, so I can definitely see where some of the Tony hate comes from.
So you love Spencer and hated Tony. What changed your mind?
Just kind of getting a more non-casual fan. Let me see. Let me say that again. What changed for me was kind of going from a casual fan to a more super fan. He, I just kind of get in these ruts. All right.
Man, you're making my job really difficult.
I'm sorry.
It's might take me 2 days to edit, to be honest.
I think the biggest difference from watching it again was that I was a super fan the second time I watched it versus a casual fan. That I can kind of see through the edit, really enjoy people even if they aren't edited well. And Tony kind of falls into that category. Spencer's great. I love him, love all of his interviews. I don't think either are amazing players. Tony's a lot better than Spencer, I feel. But Tony's just his ability to go all out all the time and still win the season is pretty special.
All right, so some time for my 7th round selection.
Kind of
And I'm
butchered
gonna-
that. You want to do that again?
Say that again?
You kind of butchered that.
Oh, I know I did. I'm just trying to. I was like dragging it out because I hadn't decided who the hell I'm taking it. No, I'm taking that person. That's 7. Man, I almost want to do something just to piss you off.
Do it. It'll make for good podcasting. I want to do something that pisses you off a little bit, so
Oh, now that worries me.
you might want to get it out of the way.
Well, I might. That makes me. I don't know. Yeah, there's only one thing you could do right now that piss me off, but I don't think you do it. there's been someone I've been wanting to take forever, but I just haven't done it yet because I don't think you like this person.
Philip or
No.
All right, let's go ahead. Take him.
All right, fine. I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna do it. With my 7th round selection, I'm gonna take someone I'm pretty sure you don't like, and I'm gonna try to argue that. All right. With my 7th round selection, I'm gonna take someone I'm pretty sure you don't like, and I'm gonna try to convince you that you should like them, and that is Stephanie LaGrossa 1.0.
Oh, this is terrible. This is
John, hold on a second. I said Stephanie LaGrossa 1.0.
1.0 is
Hold on. Let's just talk this through, John. Let's have like a counseling session here. People don't remember her as fondly as they should because she was a bit of a crank in her second season. Now, who could blame her? She had one of the most rough seasons of all time, and boom, like 2 weeks later, she's back playing again. Like, oh, I'm sorry if she's a little agitated and a little complainy. Would you not complain if you had to play Survivor back-to-back seasons and the first time was such a just like struggle? And I'm not gonna be mad at her for complaining and being a little bit of a jerk her second time around. And first of all, I'm taking Stephanie 1.0, so even this is irrelevant anyway. But I'm just mad at people who hate on Stephanie. They like take away from what she did her first time by just mentioning how much they didn't like her second or third time.
What did she do her first time? I should ask. Oh my god, my team's terrible. My team's the worst. And oh my gosh, feel sorry for me because I'm the last one in my tribe. And like, I was just over her. Like she didn't say anything smart. She really wasn't doing anything strategic. Like she just was the last one to make it, and it wasn't like she played a great game to get there. Like it was fine. Like her game was fine.
I'm not going to necessarily disagree with anything you said, but this is a draft of my favorite characters, and she was a great character. Like she had like the biggest heart of anyone like to maybe ever play the game.
She had the biggest fake heart of anyone to ever play.
I don't care. Cole Hamels, not Cole Hamels. Kyle Kendrick of the Colorado Rockies would disagree with you. Okay, so if she's good enough for Kyle Kendrick, she's good enough for me.
Yeah, go allow like 7 home runs, Kyle Kendrick.
Anyway, well, he's no Cole Hamels. That's Heidi's man. But just she was one of the best I mean, it's crazy. Like she was on like one of the worst tribes ever, but like she was really good at challenges. Like
she was fine in challenges. Like
no, she was really good. She was fantastic. No, she was very good in challenges. No one wanted it more. Like she wore her emotions on her sleeve. Like when Janu quit and saved her an extra week, it was like one of my favorite moments in the show's history. It was so great.
Beat in the challenges, like was she going up against like Janu? Or
no, she battled Jen week after week. No, she battled Jen, who was a worthy competitor.
Whatever.
Stephanie beat her time and time again.
Good for Stephanie.
I still think you're doing what other people are doing, and you're just coloring her first. You're clouding your judgment on how great she was her first time around. Like she was kind of like America's sweetheart a little bit. Everyone rooted for her. Why do you think they brought her back immediately after?
Yeah, just like
the first time they had ever like brought back just 2 people. Like they did that because they wanted Stephanie back, and you know why they wanted Stephanie back? America wanted Stephanie back. Are you gonna argue with America?
Name one singular thing that she did that was that great.
Oh, I'm sorry she didn't make any crazy moves at Tribal. That's not what we're talking about here.
She ate pizza. She like got down for pizza and she knew she was in trouble for getting voted out. It's just I'm over the Stephanie narrative.
Honestly, the only reason why I took her this late in the draft is because I knew you hated her. And if I was worried that you might take her, I absolutely would have taken her in the first couple rounds.
All right. So you just made a pick that pissed me off. I think I want to follow one up. I'm going to take another female. She's the best Survivor mom of all time.
Oh, don't do it, John. Don't do it.
I'm taking Dawn Meehan.
I'm going to puke. Are you taking Dawn Meehan, like her total package, like 1.0 and 2.0? Or?
I don't care about anything she did her first season. Like, South Pacific was pretty boring. Like, she was pretty boring. But they saw something in her. They saw that she might have been on menopause and was like, let's get her out there. She needs to play again. And thank goodness they did, because she became one of the biggest, excuse my language, but she was just the bitch, and she was terrible all season. Every day she'd have a panic attack, go cry, miss her kids, just every day. She was just emotional. She was the best, and I can never forget when she lost her teeth and almost quit the game, even though she said she didn't. But she almost quit the game because she lost her teeth.
Poor Brenda. All right, so let me just get this out of the way. I hate you and I hate Dawn, okay? Now, I will grant you that she did help make that season significantly better than it would have been. She was pretty good TV. But I'm not like, this is a favorite character draft. I hated her. Like, I hated her. First of all, I don't think she deserved to play again. I don't know where, I mean, it worked out fine. So maybe they're right, but it was inexplicable to me when she was introduced in the first episode of Fans vs. Favorites too. I'm like, are you joking? Like, is she really playing again? Like, this is a joke. Like, she was such a non-entity her first time. She didn't do anything. Like, she refused to do anything. Oh, she was the worst.
She's the best, and eventually you'll
Anyone who breaks Brenda's heart.
The crazy thing about her is that she didn't play a terrible game. Like,
no, I think it was pretty amazing what she did. I will totally grant you that, but that doesn't mean that's not going to put her on my list of favorite characters. That's for sure.
Like, she might have played the worst social game of all time, but also one of the more strategic. I mean, like, it would have been great if she took out Cochran and saw that, but like, she didn't play a bad game, but just socially, she was such a wreck that she could never, ever, in like the wildest dreams, ever won that season. Even though, again, she wasn't that bad. If you just like looking at strategic moves she made.
I don't want to get too off topic here, but what did you think of what Brenda did to her at Final Trap?
That was pretty mean, and
I think it was obviously a little mean, but I think it was justified. I think she asked a legitimately fair question. Like, if you say you wouldn't have quit the game, well, prove it. If it's not such a big deal, if you're acting like the whole teeth incident wasn't that big of a deal and you would not have quit if I didn't get it for you, prove it right now. Take them out and show that you're strong. I think it was a completely fair thing for her to do.
If she was actually going to vote for her, she just like made her like do that for no reason. Like,
just because she did it doesn't that doesn't mean Brenda should have to vote for her. It's something she probably took into consideration, but she rightfully didn't vote for Dawn. She voted for the person who deserved to win the game.
That's true, but I mean, if you're going to make her go through that, then just be like, I'm not actually going to vote for you. That's kind of a mean thing to do.
All right, well, I understand in some ways why you took her, but I can't be on board with her. I'm sorry. Let's see. So I got my 8th pick now.
Do I have 8 players now?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta get my last 2. What's my? Is it 4-4 or do I have 5 women? I know I have at least 4. I think.
You have 4 women.
Okay, I'll take one more woman.
I have 1, 2. Only have 2. Parvati, Bethany.
Woman.
So you're taking one more woman.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5-5.
There's one more woman I want. I think I'm only gonna take one more woman. I guess I should take her now, just in case you take her. But then I'd only have 2 women.
I'm probably not gonna take her.
So it's not someone that I'd like.
It's someone that like is probably like you could probably guess 100 women, and maybe
I'll wait a little bit on my next one. All right, I think I know my last 3 picks. So I'm guessing I'm gonna take 7 men.
Okay.
All right. With my 8th round selection, I'm gonna take someone. It's surprising this person's still on the board, but I'm gonna take Boston Rob.
He's solid. He might not be as good as Boston Rod.
Yes, that might be the case. You better relax, bro.
I'm sorry, but Boston Rob's solid.
Well, hold on a second. Boston Rod can't go tip-top toes with Boston Rob. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I love Boston Rod. Boston Rob, I find him kind of boring sometimes.
I think I liked him more like his first 2 times than his last 2 times by far. He was such a great character. Like his accent. I mean, I'm from Boston. I wish I had an accent like Boston Rob. The way he spoke to the camera, like he was talking to you in his confessionals. It was really interesting, and I love the way he did it.
Hey, Eli, are you gay?
Like he was just so aggressive and so ruthless. He went all out. As you can tell, I like people who go all out at this point. Like Stephanie. He gives off this is more towards the end, his last few times played. Like he gives off the feeling to everyone that he's seriously loyal, but like that's not the case. He will cut your throat if he needs to. I didn't love him in. Well, I mean, Redemption Island was probably one of the more boring seasons because he so thoroughly dominated. But it was really incredible, and he put on one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen.
Yeah, my biggest argument against Boston Rob is that I hate almost every season he's in Marquesas, which is a poor season in my opinion. All Stars, which is pretty bad. Heroes versus Villains, which he's barely in, and then
Wow, that's true. Those are three of his 4 seasons. Pretty bad.
yeah, like I don't. He says some like kind of witty stuff, but like he kind of ruins anyone else from like having a personality or really saying anything of note. All of Redemption Island, like he has them on such a lockdown that everyone's scared to even like talk to the camera about their like insecurities. Like I don't find any of his seasons that great, which is kind of why I don't. I love him as a player, maybe the best ever, but I don't think he's as great a character as he may get credit for.
I prefer him in Marquesas more than anything else. Like he just felt like he acted like he was like a mob boss, and he was so cocky and confident. He thought he knew everything. Like it was just so much fun to see that type of like bravado in the game, which maybe we hadn't quite seen before at that point. So yeah, I just it got a little boring the more and more he came on the show, but he was pretty dynamic that first few times.
All right. With my next pick, I'm not going to leave this state. I'm going to take Boston Rod. What do you think of that?
You know, when I made my preliminary list of people I was considering, I didn't have him on there. But the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, I'm like, am I penalizing him from just being on the most recent season? Like, I don't want to like overrate him because I just watched him play, but he was pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, he had the energy. He was kind of Boston Rob 1.0, but I think even better than Rob. Maybe not quite as many things that he said, but like with the impressions that he had me just dying. He's posted some on his Twitter of Max, Mike, and Dan. They're all spot on, which is crazy with his accent. His classic ""You better relax, bro" quote, and maybe my favorite thing about him was just his. It seemed like every episode he had like a Tom Brady. I'm the Tom Brady out here, or
He also compared himself to Luke Longley.
Yeah, like he just. I loved his sports references, his arrogance, and he wasn't that bad of a player. Like all season, he was kind of thought of as like a non-entity. This guy could never win. Like as it kept getting deeper and deeper, like he was the leader of his alliance, and if he had the ability to, if Mike had ever lost immunity, Boston Rod may be a Survivor winner. I think the thing holding him back is his challenges. He was not good in challenges.
Like there's so many like big buff dudes. People think they're like challenge threats. They're terrible athletes. I'm not gonna say terrible. I don't know, but he's not a good athlete. No, he's not a good athlete. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's awesome though. He had great spirit. I think he'll play again, but the fact that he wasn't on Survivor Second Chances and Max was, that kind of worries me a little bit that he might not get brought back.
Rodney was just on RHAP for like 2 hours the other day, and he kind of mentioned how that he didn't feel he was ready to play again yet. Like his body, he needed, like, I guess he had some like parasites in his stomach or something. Like he needed time to recover, and I'd be shocked if they didn't want him back. So I feel like he's the type of character that he didn't need this. He could wait for a better opportunity.
Yeah, and if Boston Rob can go from just kind of loose cannon to one of the best players ever, I'm not going to rule it out. He has some good spots in his game, and I think he could become one of the best Survivor characters of all time if he can kind of repeat, maybe get back on once or twice more. I love everything about him, and I think he could be even better. All right.
There's one player that I cannot believe is still on the board. I want to do it.
Just take them, because I guess do you have 2 more picks? Yeah, I just have one.
I'm
not going to take that person. So
are you really not?
I don't even know who you're talking about unless.
I mean, I just there's a player who's like number like a, I have like I think I know which two I want, but there's one person who's like a little bit below them that I cannot. I want to take just because I feel like it'd be a good discussion, but I don't have anything planned on this person because I thought there was no way in hell I was going to be end up taking them.
Who is it?
I'm not telling you.
Philip?
It is not Philip, but he is right next to this person on my board.
Rupert?
No, it's not Rupert.
I mean, like, Rupert's like one of the best. Like,
Rupert 1.0 really is amazing, so
yeah.
I probably should take Rupert 1.0.
Is it Nyanka?
No. All right. I'm gonna take my last email now and then try to figure out who I'm. Shit. No, I guess.
Just pick someone. Come on.
All right. With my 9th round selection, I'm gonna take someone way back in the day, one of the classic survivors, Lex, Survivor Africa.
That's a good pick.
I had to trust my gut and take him.
He can't really trust his gut, I guess. But I mean, if you got his gut, then we're good.
I just, he played with like,
Let's redo that. Let's redo that whole thing.
Yeah. All right. With my 9th round selection, I'm going to trust my gut and take Lex from Survivor Africa.
Solid pick. I like it.
He was like the tattooed guy. Thought maybe he was like a badass, but he was kind of like a softie. Like, he tried to play with integrity. God, I hate that word in this game, but he was just like my favorite Lex moment, one of my all-time favorite moments in Survivor was when Teresa T-Bird voted for Lex kind of as a favor to what was the guy's name?
I have no idea. I'm not real familiar with Africa.
The big black guy.
Oh, Clarence.
Yeah, so when T-Bird voted for Lex as a favor to Clarence, Lex went on just like a rampage. Like, he went on a crusade. He had to find out who voted for him. He said, like, he blamed it on other people. He for some reason trusted Teresa because Teresa's a great player. But it was Teresa the whole time. And it changed, honestly, that straight vote that she didn't even mean like anything personal against Lex, like, changed the course of the game in some ways. So Lex was just so much fun to watch, and who could forget the run-in with Rob Mariano in All-Stars? And the All-Stars was terrible, but that's the one thing that no one will ever forget from that season.
I think the thing about Lex that makes him kind of takes him down a notch is that he's so much about integrity and loyalty, and he's kind of like Coach in the sense that he's all about integrity except when he's not. And I just kind of felt like,
well, yeah, he's about integrity when it helps him, but if it serves him not to have integrity or to go back on his word, then he'll do that.
yeah, I would have loved if he like realized his like conundrum of like if that was like his strategy is about I'm going to tell everyone that they have to play like with integrity, then actually do something different. But he like actually thought he had all this integrity, but it was kind of frustrating that he really didn't know what he was doing per se.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not much to say about Lex. I just really, it was one of the first seasons I watched, obviously, and he was just different than anything I'd seen before and maybe after. He was just really interesting and complex, and he was just a joy to watch.
All right, with my last pick, I've been saving her mainly because I knew you wouldn't pick her. This Survivor, I'm picking solely on stuff out of the game. This may be controversial.
I think it is because you're not going with the whatever. Just go ahead.
I have a question for you. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is your Dairy Queen melting and getting everywhere?
Oh God, I remember this reference. I don't even know who it is. Who is it?
Baylor Wilson.
Oh my God, sticky situation.
Dun, 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 dun. She's the best.
I gotta admit, I had a crush on Baylor during the season. I really did. But this is utterly ridiculous.
We can skip the season about Baylor. She didn't do anything. But when I saw her sticky situation video that I've probably watched 60 to 70 times now, I have broke it down. I've looked at it from all angles. Gotta give a shout out to the guy who has the flower in the video. That guy really just kills it.
Now, if you guys haven't seen this video, you're probably thinking we're crazy, but you need to watch this because then you can somewhat understand this ridiculous pick. But if you haven't seen it, you're gonna be like, "What are you doing, John?"
Yeah, Shasta definitely got their money's worth. Like Shasta's all over this video. I'm not sure if it was planned or not, if they got any money on the side, but they definitely got their money's worth. I definitely want to crack open this Shasta right now.
You know what I want for my birthday, John?
What's that?
It's not a reward. I don't want to be taken on a reward by Mama C. I want Baylor and her mom Missy to just show up to my birthday party. That's what I want.
They'll just show up. Their birthday idea, which was also awesome, they thought it was a good idea to, what would you even call it? It's just, it was an idea of like, I call it like a half-baked idea.
I think they were just trying to get some exposure after the show in any way they could.
Exactly, but like Survivor, like maybe like one person in a season can really make a name for themselves, and maybe that's probably too much, but
yeah, I mean, maybe back in the first like 5 seasons when the show was like a ginormous hit, but now it's just like, you know,
they started this giveaway, was it, or did you even have to pay for their flights?
I don't know. There was just some stupid contest where like you had to like send them a video message or write a letter about why you wanted them to show up at your birthday party.
I love birthdays so much. It's just, I don't know.
I mean, the thing about this pick that bewilders me is that was your last pick. You just left your favorite player on the board sitting there. Your favorite player ever is still on the board, and you did not take them.
Are you talking about Kim Spradlin?
I'm talking about Tom Westman.
Oh, Tom Westman, he's not a character. I wouldn't call him a character. He's fine. He'll be on like all my other teams. I don't get humor from Tom Westman. These are mainly people I get humor from. So that's kind of what I went for.
I guess we approach this draft a little differently, but you know, there's no right way. It's your favorite, so I can't really argue.
I would also like to point out that I'm an equal opportunity Survivor drafter. I took 5 women and 5 men.
You did. As now, I only have 2 women, but with my 10th pick right now, I'm going to make that 3 women. I'm going to take Cirie from Survivor Panama, Exile Island.
Yeah, I like Cirie, but I feel like she just has like one personality, I guess. She doesn't have layers. She has that like laugh, oh, I'm just the woman on the couch. She just like kind of plays that up nonstop. And I mean, it's cool, but it kind of gets old.
Yeah, I mean, she just, you know, she plays it up, but she kind of was like a fish out of water a little bit. Like, in her first episode, she was like, wasn't she like talking about how she was like scared of leaves?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like, so you go from being scared of leaves and being on the bottom of the tribe and going to tribal week 1, and somehow she ended up convincing the people to vote out. I forget who they ended up voting out, but it was like a woman who was like,
I think her name was Sandy.
Yeah, that might be right. She was like really like valuable to the tribe. Like she was like started fires and found food, and like she was like used to the wilderness. Like she was a valuable asset, and somehow Cirie finagled it where she stayed and the other one went. It was really impressive. Like she was a brilliant player, underrated, easy to root for, likable. Like she is kind of like stealth under the radar, like making moves. Like I really like seeing people like work the game without anyone realizing they're working it.
Yeah, I agree. I would have a few women ahead of that. Like, I guess we can start going in our honorable mentions.
Yeah, why don't you mention a few women that you thought about taking?
I thought about taking Kat from One World.
Oh God, I hate Kat.
Kat's good. She's not great. The one I probably should have taken was Sophie Clark, who just kind of made.
I think Sophie's crazy overrated. It's just so overrated.
I don't think she's overrated. The way she like treated Albert, she was like the man in the relationship. And
the greatest moment.
You know,
I will give Sophie some credit because she provided one of the greatest moments in Survivor history.
When she told Albert to pick up her cards,
her puzzle pieces. I mean,
Jeff let that play out. Like he kind of let it play out. Then Jeff was like, "Oh, actually, you can't do that." I mean, great to see Albert just pick up Sophie's stack of cards that just fell down. A few other women, Lil. I don't know
You
how I
just want to pick Lil because when you think of Lil, you think of Rob and Josh's hilarious Lil impressions.
I don't know how I didn't make this list, guys. I really think you should have considered me more, and I'm really disappointed in you guys.
You're gonna tell me you're not gonna vote for me, right?
Another one that was kind of mainly because Rob, Wanda, but there's no way I could actually picked her. Corinne was good. Shambo was good. Nyanka was actually one of my favorites. Like, she had just a couple moments. The first one is when she stole Fabio's socks, and then like Fabio was like gonna kind of approach her and be like, "Hey, kind of my socks back," and Nyanka just like, "Are you looking at me weird?" And she like totally turns it on Fabio when.
Hey, if Fabio was mean about it and tried to get the socks back, maybe he wouldn't have won. You just don't know, John.
Yeah, and then the other moment when she thought it was a good idea to like hide the frying pan, and didn't she hide some food as well? But she's had a couple moments.
A couple females that I considered, Eliza. I love the women on the show that like get like blasted by everyone unfairly. Like, why did everyone hate Eliza? I don't get it. I'm sure she was a little annoying out there, maybe a little talkative and a little paranoid. I don't know, but she's likable. I love it. I just hate when people get picked on unfairly. I gravitate towards those players.
From what I've heard, is she was super paranoid, and paranoia can just really piss people off. So that's maybe one thing that really got on people's nerves.
A few other girls I thought about. Abby Maria, one of the greater villains we've ever seen. I despised her out there, but she was compelling.
What about Jatia?
No, she wasn't there long enough to really. Yeah, we got a pretty good glimpse of what Jatia was all about, but she wasn't there long enough. Jerry Manthe, she's pretty great. Thought about her.
What about Sue Hawk?
Yeah, I had her really low. I had her in the mix, but not high enough that I was even really considering it. But she was great. But like, if you think about it, Sue was mostly great for the one moment at Tribal Council. She was good otherwise. But if you take that away, like, you wouldn't even think twice about her whatsoever.
What about Shanini from Survivor Worlds Apart?
I don't even remember that person existing.
Dan Foley, remember when he was like, Shanini?
Oh, Nina?
You remember that? When Dan was just a total asshole. And we'll probably talk about Dan.
Breaking news. How about some of the men that you thought about taking?
I gotta give a shout out to my favorite person from Borneo, BB Anderson. He was just great.
He was such an idiot.
He was one of the worst players ever.
The two main people that I almost took were Colton and Philip Shepard. Yeah,
Colton's great. Philip Shepard, I just kind of feel like it's a show, so that's kind of the reason why I didn't pick him.
I considered Big Tom. I considered Ozzy.
Oh my, those are two. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, I should have taken Rupert 1.0, but like he got so annoying and played out that it even ruins Rupert 1.0 for me. Like, it's just, please go away. Never play against the love of humanity.
One person that needs a shout out is Billy Garcia.
Yes, absolutely.
And another, maybe I'm pushing it, but Tarzan. Tarzan was pretty funny.
He wasn't even the best Zan that season. I like Troyzan better.
Troyzan sucks. We can talk about him later, but and gotta definitely give a shout out to Zane. First boot Zane from the Philippines.
Oh, three more. I just want to give it three more shout outs. One to Dreams from Survivor Fiji.
No.
I'm also going to give a shout out to Tyson Apostle. And I can't. I really probably should have taken it. Teresa Cooper, T-Bird, Africa. I'm so disgusted that she's not on Survivor Second Chances. I don't even want to talk about it. So we're just going to move on from that.
Yeah, I'll get over it. There's like 18 people I like on that tribe.
No, I'm not going to get over it, but we're going to not dwell on this.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. Maybe Spencer Bledsoe, but he's just kind of one of my personal favorites.
So as a reminder, why don't you? It would be great if you guys could tweet at us at Survivor Buddies and use some hashtags and say who had the better draft, hashtag Eli, hashtag John, or maybe come up with your own creative hashtags. But let us know who you think had the better team. I think it's pretty clear who had the better team. Why don't we give a quick recap of the teams? Do you have your list, John?
No, so let's just do that.
I have John's list. He's got Courtney Yates, Rob Cesternino, Natalie Anderson, Judd, Crystal Cox, Leaf, Tony Vlachos, Don, Boston Rod, and Baylor Wilson.
Let's go, Don. Woo, Don.
I had
Don should win the draft just for taking Don.
Yeah, whatever. I had Yowman, Russell Hance, Johnny Fairplay, Stephanie LaGrossa, Boston Rob, Coach, Sari, Lex, and Parvati.
The only really terrible pick you made was Stephanie.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, she's terrible. But anyway.
So, yeah, tweet us who you think wins. You can leave us suggestions for future podcast topics, whatever you want. We'd love to hear your feedback. So thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, how long did you think that was? Like an hour and 15 or something?
It was longer than that.
Well, it's going to be a lot of it. Well, remember, we got to cut out a lot of time.
I bet it'll be like an hour 10 maybe.
I'm guessing it'll be around an hour. I'm going to be listening.